Alright, yun. So what's up and good day again to everyone who'll be watching this video. So this is Berio again doing our weekly briefing video for this week. So today is April 14, 2025 around 4:58 p.m. Philippine time. So medyo na late yung ating weekly briefing video. So for the past few days, medyo masama yung pakiramdam ko talaga. So nag-bed rest muna ako and umiwas ako on screens. So hindi ako masyadong natingin on charts or whatever. So mainly touching grass lang and keeping myself busy on other non-computer related stuff. So nag-ano din ako, umiwas din ako on using my phone. So may something related on my eyes. So umiwas din muna ako. So far, okay din naman yung pakiramdam ko and na-manage na yung migraines and stuff. So yun, going back in our weekly briefing video, as usual, our goal is to look at what happened for the trading week last week. Ano yung mga nangyaring economic events, key events, highlights, what happened with the markets, and of course, to prepare for the trading week ahead. And finally, to look at some charts na quite interesting, lalong-lalo na that the markets are quite recovering or showing some slight strength, no, or recovery. So, looking at our stock heat map on its own, medyo nagkakaroon na tayo ng signs of life. This is the weekly stock heat map of all US stocks, all US companies. So we can see that that Amazon gained by 10.6%, United Health 10.68% across the board. Medyo mas madami na yung greens versus reds. And at the same time, meron lang tayo mga selected few tech names na nag-outperform like Nvidia, Google, Meta, Microsoft. So medyo underperformer yung Teslas as of this trading week, last trading week. So at the same time, one of the key highlights last week is yung big banks earnings. So halos na-kick off na rin yung new earnings cycle, earnings report cycle. So JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo released their earnings. So far so good this week, 6.48% Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan 9.7%. Schwab, I'm not sure if nag-release na sila earnings, but so far nagkaroon tayo ng onting slight sympathy move in Schwab. Even BlackRock 3.04%. So upcoming earnings this week, mostly mga financial names pa rin. So yun, this last week mga nag-recover mga tech stocks like Avgo, yan, semiconductors, mainly semiconductors and some tech names, mga electronic names. So maybe finrontra na yung recent news regarding the tariff pause on tech, tariff pause on tech. So medyo nauna na, no, nagpauna na kumbaga. So looking at our ETF heat map, ayun, stocks went well naman across all ETFs, equity ETFs, so far so good. XLK tech sector 4.87%. IWM, saan yung IWM natin? 0.96%. So up for this week, XLF 1.3%. So itong ano natin, S&P 500 2% din, 2% gain din for the week. Qs 3.71% for this trading week as well. So bonds natin medyo na laglag din talaga. So medyo may onting concerns din ako with the bond market. Since ayun nga the bond market is the bigger market versus the stock market. So at the same time, if the bond market is underperforming, ibig sabihin nun, yields may go up. Actually, yields are going up. Record high yung yields natin right now. So quite concerning yun with regards to stocks or risk assets. Usually kasi if bond yields are going up, it tightens financial conditions and in return, it will affect corporate earnings and the stock market. And also, the cost of borrowing, of course. So commodities, GLD, 5.04% versus IBIT, 1.56% for this trading week. So gold outperforms bonds, even cash, even the dollar, and even crypto. And even the stock market. Kita mo naman, 5.04% GLD versus the SPY versus the Qs. So outperforming yung gold talaga on its own. So money is flowing toward this safe haven asset. And we can see that clearly money is flowing out of bonds para at least magkaroon ng konting protection yung other countries on the erratic policies of Donald Trump or Donald Trump's admin. So medyo may konting somewhat weaponization of financial instruments recently based on what we are seeing. So isa sa mga key highlights last week, bonds are going down, equities are slightly going up or recovering, showing some significant strength and sustaining above a key level or round number area. For example, ito S&P 500 natin, at the $500 round number area, we saw this double bottom at the $500 round number area with an RSI bull dip. So it's a sign of pent-up demand at a key level at the round number area, the Livermore level. So pare-pares lang yan, significant round number area. And right now, it's trying to undercut and reclaim this all-time high EV/WAP. Itong orange line natin. So if we're gonna clear our moving averages, itong all-time high EV/WAP noong January 2024, lagi natin yan dinidiscuss every day, in which ito yung key level na on watch always, no? Ito yung pinaka on watch na key level na volume-based or volume-weighted average price since anchored volume-weighted average price since the all-time high breakout noong 2024. So for the past few significant sell-offs or corrections tulad nung higher for longer tantrum noong April 2024, August 2024, yan carry trade unwind. So right now, in this major correction, ito pinierce yung all-time high EV/WAP, but it's trying to reclaim this EV/WAP. So if it fully reclaims this all-time high EV/WAP, it's a strong sign that you have aggressive buyers pushing prices higher and trying to recover their main possessions basically. Or pwede rin ang nangyari dito, yung mga all-time high buyers mo since 2024, sinuka nila yung holdings nila since they're at a loss. So right now, you have new money buyers. At the same time, if we're gonna look at the volume action, we have this big volume clusters in which it's a sign of new money buyers or mga short covering na quite significant. So let's see if masustain ng SPY itong reclaim of the all-time high EV/WAP. So of course, importante din tong 10-day moving average, 20-day moving average. So as long as we're still below the 10 and 20, declining 10 and 20 day, we're not yet fully confident that we're in a risk-on market state, or it's a good idea to go risk-on fully, basically and ultimately. So as long as we're below the 10 and 20, declining 10 and 20, hindi ka para mag-over-deploy or at least mag-expose ng too much capital in equities. Much better if you want to trade equities, you expose your capital on gold miners. Kasi ito yung current outlier natin in equities, mga gold miners. So GDX, kitang-kita mo 5% up. Although quite overextended na, so pwede mong gawin dyan, you wait for a retest or a pullback. Hindi mo siya parabolin right now. So may strong signs siya ng possible mean reversion to the downside or bearish mean reversion. So going back in our indices, so same story with the Qs lang din. All-time high EV/WAP, multiple times undercuts and reclaims this all-time high EV/WAP. Right now, what we want to see is a clear UNR of this 80 all-time high EV/WAP. And of course, yung 10 and 20, yan yung pinaka-tinitingnan natin. So same story with the Dow Jones. We tested the $370 level, bounced off it, and right now trying to test the 10-day moving average. So based on our global market dashboard, we have one index na above the 10-day moving average, no index above the 20-day, 50-day, and 200-day moving average. So basically, based on moving averages alone, we're in a weak market breadth environment, or we're in a weak environment pa din. Limited yung participation, limited yung mga buyers mo, aggressive buyers mo. Yes, nandiyan na yung mga defensive buyers mo, slightly. May signs na nandun na tayo sa point na yun. But we need aggressive buyers to at least see a rise in risk appetite. Kailangan natin makita yun. So that's that. It's our market summary, basically. We're still, majority of the indices are still below all key moving averages. But ayun nga, for last week, we have 7 out of 7 indices above, positive for the week. So, lahat ng index nag-advance last week, which is good development based on momentum or at least on a mean reversion perspective. So, makikita natin, Nasdaq 100, 7.25%, week on week, 5.89%, Dow Jones, week on week. Same with S&P 500, more than 5% up. Pinakamahina natin yung small caps. The weakest index last week is small caps. So may underperformance tayo with the small cap market cap segment. So in terms of sectors naman, top performing natin XLK with a total gain week on week 8.12%. Next is industrials, financials is next 5.85, consumer discretionary XLY 5.03% up week on week. XLB materials, so materials sector related yan sa precious metals, gold, mga copper, industrial metal. So, nag-recover din siya last week, 5.05%. So, top performing sectors we should focus on right now based on RSN Trend Composite Score or yung relative strength and Trend Composite Score. Pinaka-okay, consumer staples. Siya yung pinaka-stable based on moving average based strength and momentum strength. So, top names on watch on consumer staples, nandiyan yung LW, Philip Morris, WBA, MO, CHT, Monster, KView, Walmart, Kroger, mga consumer staples natin. So, on uncertain market environments or ayun nga, yung recovering market coming from a correction, isa talaga sa mga classic sectors yung consumer staples. So, at least deploy some capital into. Kasi defensive sector yan. So, right now, if you want to at least take advantage of the recovery, dun ka sa mga mga oversold or yung mga nag-recover pa lang tulad ng XLK, XLI, XLY, and XLF. Right now, XLF, I think, isa to sa mga magiging highlights natin since last week, JP Morgan, good earnings report. Tapos, maganda yung earnings reaction. Morgan Stanley din, okay din. Creating an inside bar, trying to reclaim the 10-day moving average. But ayun nga, we need some proof or at least more financial names to pull the financial sector above key levels. So, XLF natin, still below the 10-day, still below the 200-day. So, upcoming earnings reports like Schwab, I think Citigroup will also release their earnings this week. So, double check natin sorry. Okay, top 10 earnings report by market cap. TSM, Netflix, to Bank of America, SML, American Express, PGR, Blackstone. So, financial names natin, Blackstone, American Express, Bank of America. So, other financial names, I think, next week, to Citizens Financial Group, USB. Double check natin Monday, Goldman Sachs, GS, negative 13.65 year to date, will release their earnings on Monday. Before the bell, April 14. So, later, before the bell. Tignan natin if na-release na yung earnings. Double check natin. Wait lang. I think na-release na. Usually kasi mga bandang 5 na-release na yun. So, wala pang earnings yung Goldman Sachs. Double check natin. Baka hindi pa lang nag-reflect. Blah, blah, blah. So, quarterly results will release before the bell, Goldman Sachs. So, if GS will have good earnings, most likely, mabuhat niya din yung XLF, which will result into a total undercut and reclaim of this big base. So, XLF, bigger picture, maganda naman diba? It's on a strong uptrend. You have a rising 200 days, still a rising 100 day. Actually, hindi pala, nagda-downtick na. But 200 days still rising. So, that's a good sign. But ayun, we're still below the 200 day. But technical analysis-wise, you have this alleged distribution range. So, once we fully reclaim this support line, that's a good sign na yun nga, you have new money buyers, madami ka na whipsaw na sellers from this base, mga short sellers na will most likely cover their shorts since ayun nga, they shorted the XLF or they shorted financial names. So, once we recover above this support line, that's a good sign na XLF will recover nicely. So, pwede nating gawin dyan, we focus our energy on financial names. We trade the follow-through rallies on earnings-related plays or yung mga day one earnings on uh, significant earnings reports on financial names. Pero kailangan muna natin ng total reclaim of $47 or $48 for XLF. So at least magkaroon tayo ng onting confidence towards that. So ayun, other financial names to release their earnings: Citigroup, Bank of America, tomorrow, before the bell. So usually kasi pag financial name, before the bell yun nire-release eh. So yung iba, mga insurance names na broad or mga multi-line insurance tulad ng TRV, PGR, I think ano din yung insurance name din yan. So other tech names to release their earnings ay nga TSM, one of the major earnings releases this week. United Health will also release their earnings this week. United Health, one of the highest market caps in according to this report, to our Pulseman report. Or Earnings Man report. So ito yung mga bots na ginagamit natin para at least mapadali natin yung buhay natin towards towards upcoming news, upcoming key events. So speaking of key events, last week, discuss lang natin. Last week, nagkaroon tayo ng CPI, lower CPI, which is good. So at least na-alleviate na yung inflation concerns. So core inflation rate year-on-year for March, 2.8%. Lower than expected, lower than the previous month, 3.1% yung previous month. So halos ang laking drop talaga, 2.8%. So at least nagkaroon tayo ng onting confidence towards the inflation narrative. So inflation rate, non-core, 2.4%. PPI, producer inflation, negative 0.4%. For the first time since 2020, nagkaroon tayo ng negative 0.4 PPI. So this is a strong sign na yun nga, baka dahil dun sa tariff news, nasira yung nagkaroon ka ng demand destruction in which, ayun nga, bumaba yung producer inflation. So at the same time, you have your US oil declining. So PPI usually connected yan with US oil. So if you have a big decline on US oil, you will most likely have a big decline in producer inflation then. So actually, in terms of the inflation narrative, it's also good. Kaya rin siguro nagkaroon ng konting confidence yung market. Nagkaroon ng konting confidence, kumbaga. But, ayun, in terms of rate cuts, silipin lang natin. Next rate cut, ano ba yung probability for a rate cut? Basahin lang natin quickly. So, for May 7, 2025, Fed meeting. We have a high probability for rate cut oddly for 25,450 yung yung probability. So 1 week ago, we have 38.5% probability for 25 basis point cut. Tapos this May medyo nagkaroon ng onting decrease. I'm not sure bakit, but maybe related nga din dito sa sa bond market tantrum. So nagde-decline yung bonds mo, you have rising yields, nagkaroon ng unwinding of the basis trade, so it's for another topic, for another discussion, but it mainly affects the probabilities for a rate cut. If you have higher bond yields, it will affect the probabilities for a rate cut. So that's that. So for this week, wala masyadong key economic data releases. So retail sales lang, building permits, housing starts. So Wednesday, Thursday. So wala masyadong event. So usually, yung mga ganitong klaseng weeks na wala masyadong economic data releases, based on experience, sa akin lang to, it's usually a positive week for the market. So if you are a day trader, a short-term swing trader, tipong you are just trading 1 to 3 days, I think it's a good time. I think maganda siya this week. But I may be wrong. Maybe magkaroon ng another news regarding tariffs. Maybe magkaroon na naman ng another dilly-dallying on tariffs tulad nung, yun nga, ngayon, positive. Maybe for the next coming days, magkaroon na naman ng another tariff news regarding China or regarding a specific sector that may affect the overall market. So, hindi natin alam, ang daming pwedeng mangyari. But bottom line, ang kailangan lang natin gawin, based on our Pulseman report, we need to just, pwedeng stay on the sidelines, but pwede tayong magkaroon ng onting capital deployment. If you're a swing trader, momentum trader, pwede ka mag-deploy ng around 33 to 50%. And max of 0.33% VAR per trade. Para sa akin, na 0.33% to 0.5%. And overall, the risk exposure of your capital is 0.5 to 1%. So if you have a collective number of trades or collective number of positions, i-check mo yung total VAR exposure ng portfolio mo and make sure na at least or at most 1% max yung open risk mo. So yeah, yun yung main mandate natin. So in terms of market groups naman this week, GDX still remains the top market group. Same with healthcare providers and services. Food and bev, nandyan din naman. Restaurant names also, I think, doing good. Casualty insurance, aerospace and defense, despite aerospace and defense having some negative volatility or at least a decline in most names, but right now showing signs of strength kasi nag-recover na above the 10-day moving average. And at the same time for this week, 9.56% up yung aerospace and defense stocks natin, mga military stocks. Mining names, 10.43% up this week. So, yan yung mga names na pwede nating hanapan ng setup. So, if you want to look for setups in strong market groups, strong sectors, punta ka lang dito sa weekly top-down scan list. So, this takes this play finder looks for stocks in strong market groups, strong sectors, mga nag-recover na sectors or nag-recover na industry groups or market groups. So, ito yung mga top names na yun. GDX, IHF, PBJ. Ito yung mga pasok sa criteria. So, ito yung mga hinahanapan na, ito yung main criteria natin. Kailangan medyo liquid yung stock, average volume of 1M shares na traded. Yung price ng stock is above the $10 level. And at the same time, dapat above the 50-day and 200-day moving average. Para at least you are looking for stocks na on an uptrend. So, ito yung mga names na yun. Walmart, CrowdStrike, up to ATSG. So, onti lang. But, ayun, at least, alam mo na nagpapakita ka ng significant buying participation or buyer participation, bull participation. Okay, so clear? Clear naman siguro, no? So, let's look at our bull momentum monitor. So, saan bang sectors yung nag-work yung breakouts? Short-term breakouts, industrials, materials, consumer staples. So far, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga short-term breakouts, 20-day high breakouts. But intermediate term breakouts, mga 50-day high breakouts, and 52-week high breakouts, so far wala pa in all sectors. So top advancing sectors last week, majority ng mga stocks under a certain sector nag-advance. Consumer staples, tech sector, industrials, nandyan din. Most of the stocks under these sectors advanced. And at the same time, ito materials, 84.62%. So in terms of moving averages, healthiest sector is consumer staples in the short term, intermediate term, and I think long term din. Decent enough, 44.74%. Yung above the 200-day moving average. Utilities also doing good. 51.61% of stocks under utility sectors. Under the utility sector is above the 50-day moving average. Same with the 200-day moving average bread data. Okay, so key highlight and recent news right now is yung tariff pause. So if we're gonna look at the overnight market in hindi overnight market, pre-market session, S&P 500 is gapping up 1.36%. Pre-market, same with the Qs, 1.5%. And Dow Jones, gapping up. Okay, so in terms of macro, tingnan nga natin. Sorry, nawala na sa isip ko itong mga other stuff. So let's look at the VIX. Kamusta ba yung VIX? So at the daily, we have a drop in VIX below 14 tayo, which is good. So if VIX drops, usually maganda yan for the market. So at the same time, VIX ruled off 16, which is the daily expected move in the S&P 500 based on VIX is 2.10%. So expected move for today is 2.10%. To the upside or downside. So let's look at MMTW. Silipin natin yung ating favorite market benchmark. So MMTW is reclaiming the 14% market bottom level. So every market bottom, every minor and major market bottom, kailangan above 15% MMTW. So 18% of stocks above the 20-day moving average. So it takes consider of all stocks and it tallies and checks gaano ba kadami yung stocks above the 20-day moving average. And of course, logically, if you have more stocks above the 20-day or if you're coming from a strongly or if you're coming in a strong correction or corrective market and nagkaroon ka ng recovery in percent of stocks above the 20-day, just sign na nagkaroon ka ng increase or at least improvement in risk appetite. So that's our internals. Let's look at relative strength. Kamusta ba yung small caps? Growth and value narrative. So slide G, slide V, as I've said, gusto natin makakita talaga ng growth outperformance versus value in all sectors. I mean, in all segments. So in small caps, okay yan para sa akin, in which your growth is outperforming value. So growth stocks outperforming value. MDYG, MDYV, yun lang. Okay, sige, nagkaroon ka ng double bottom. It reclaimed the 50-day. But we're still below this downtrend line. So in terms of large caps, SPY-G, SPY-V chart, you have this double bottom, an RSI divergence. So if we're gonna look at our divergence, you have a higher low in price, higher low in RSI, lower low in price. And at the same time, you're at a key support level, technical support level. So ngayon, if we see that SPY-G, SPY-V chart continues to go up and you have a transition to an uptrend, your moving average configuration is improving in which yung fast moving average mo is above the slow moving average and you have all your key moving average uptrending or sloping upward. So yun yung ideal scenario. Ideal risk on scenario. So growth outperforms value in large cap, small cap, mid cap. So yun yung natin. Isa sa mga tinitingnan natin all the time. So let's look at the dollar. So dollar piercing the $100 round number area. So almost 2 days na tayo below the $100 round number area. So not sure how to interpret this. Maybe related to bonds yung nangyayari with the dollar. So, di ba, ayun nga, as I've said, nawe-weaponize yung bonds or nawe-weaponize yung treasuries against US. Kasi yun nga, sa mga main goal ng Trump administration and yung Treasury Secretary right now, which is Scott Bessent, ang goal nila is to bring down the US 10-year bond yield. Para at least mas mababa yung interest expense nila on refinance debt. At the same time, it also brings down mortgage rates, credit card loans, credit card interest rates, car loan interest rates. So if you have lower bond yields, and you have lower mortgage rates, lower car loans, it is stimulative for the economy. Syempre, mas madaling manghiram ng pera with a lower interest rate basis. So, syempre, di ba, if you're a borrower, ang gusto mo, lower interest expense, and at the same time, masustain yung interest expense na bababa. But right now, US 10-year bond yields is rising. So, it really affects the dollar. Diba? It really affects the dollar. Kasi most tariff-hit countries are selling their US treasuries, repatriating their money in their country, selling dollars into their local currency or in domestic currency. Kaya humihina yung dollar. So money is flowing out of bonds And yung mga dollar-denominated bonds na yun is no-convert into their local currency. Kaya bumababa yung dollar natin. So, let's look at Fed liquidity. Fed liquidity. So far, nagkakaroon tayo ng upticks. Constant upticks at the daily and weekly. Right now, we're above the 200-day moving average. So, if liquidity is above the 200-day moving average, usually good times yan with equities. And usually with bond markets as well. But ayun, kailangan natin ng clear confirmation muna from the stock market. And of course, yung indices natin. Kumbaga, leading signal lang naman yun. It's basically a leading signal related to liquidity. So, di ba, I always say that markets are reliant to liquidity. So, if you have low liquidity, mangyayari dyan, ninipis yung bids mo. And if numipis yung bids mo and you have aggressive sellers, mas naging aggressive yung sell down or yung decline ng presyo. Kasi wala kang sumasali, wala kang defensive buyer. So, yun. That's our general macro. Nothing to discuss further. So, let's look at crypto. Okay, sige. Tingnan natin commodities pala muna. So, kamusta ba yung copper? So far, bouncing off at the $4 round number area. $4. But ayun, kailangan muna natin total reclaim above the 50-day. So, main purpose ng copper, why we're looking at it, is more of, kamusta ba yung global economy, global economic activity? So, copper is one of the most used industrial metals, di ba? If you have rising copper, ibig sabihin, most likely, you have consumer confidence, you have enough liquidity to construct projects which requires copper. So, kaya siya tinawag na Dr. Copper kasi it's a gauge of it's a gauge of economic activity. So, if you have a drop in copper, you have declining copper, ibig sabihin, wala kang masyadong industrial activity, wala kang masyadong purchase orders on copper. Kaya bumabagsak. So, another thing, looking at US oil, almost more than 5 days na tayo below the $65 level, which is this support line. Okay, so basically it bounced off at the $60 round number area. So that's US oil. Nothing to discuss further, bakit nalalaglag yan? I think na sabi ko na yan. Basically, if you have demand destruction, you have uncertainty in policies, fiscal policies, monetary policies, yun nga, yung tariff. Syempre, mag-aalangan ka to move your products. Syempre, pag nagkaroon ka na ng pag-aalangan yung mga businesses, yung mga companies in moving their products, bababa yung consumption ng US oil, kaya yan, nalaglag. Demand destruction. So, looking at silver, still the laggard versus gold. So, silver, we're still below the 50-day and 20-day moving average. But with gold, we're clearly above this 10-day, 20-day, 50-day, and 100-day, and even the 200-day moving average. So, tingin ko yung gold, baka ma-reach pa natin yung T4. Clearly, madali niyang i-reach yung T4. So, for me, sa ngayon, hindi mo pa siya para bilhin right now yung gold. Maybe wait for a consolidation at T1, T40, 3140. So, ngayon, hindi mo para bulin kasi almost 3 days off na rin eh. Okay, so that's commodities. Looking at bonds, gold, AGG, aggregate bond ETF, still declining, almost 5 days down. Same with HYG and SHY and even TLT. So, medyo masakit kasi may TLT tayo. So, right now, maybe I'll buy more if it reclaims the $88 level. But for now, since medyo madaming uncertainties in the market, most especially the bond market, medyo muna ako, staying on the sidelines ako when buying or dollar cost averaging bond ETFs. So let's proceed with crypto. Kamusta ba yung crypto market? So far, parang nagkaroon na tayo ng potential bottom with BTC. So we have a lower low in price. We have a higher low in RSI. So may pent-up demand tayo at a key round number area which is 80K. So ngayon, ang kailangan natin makita with BTC is to reclaim the 88K level, which is etong high niyan. 88K or 90K na lang, much better. Magkaroon tayo ng total reclaim of this support level, etong distribution range or alleged distribution range. So yeah, that's crypto. Still quite risk off, but I think pwede na mag-nibble around. Mag-nibble ng new positions. So looking at Philippine Stock Exchange, Philippine Stock Market, kumusta ba yung local equities natin? Same with other index or other indices, meron na tayong double bottom in RSI Boldiv. So we have a lower low in price, we have a higher low in RSI, which is good. It's a sign of pent-up demand. So ang kailangan lang natin makita with TSEI is to fully reclaim the 6,200 level or much better itong 20-day moving average. But for now, I think medyo we're in a fragile position to buy the index or buy the index related names or components. So that's Philippine equities. Wala naman masyadong discuss dyan. Okay, so this week, ano ba yung mga stocks on watch ko? So I have NN. So yung NN, na-discuss ko na yung trade thesis natin dyan, investment thesis. It's an IPO name. You have a flag, although below the 100-day moving average, diniscartan ko lang with possession size. So may potential siya. You have a big IPO base, a cup and high handle setup. Next is UTI. The stock is at all-time high. We have 2 inside bars, 2 tight bars, and para sa akin, maybe if it breaks above 28, pwede itong hawakan towards $36. Next is SE. So, kailangan muna natin ng total reclaim of the $125 level. 124, 125. Much better. So, SE, bigger picture, we're at stage 2 markup. So, bata pa yung uptrend. And it's the first time we undercutted and reclaimed this 100-day moving average. Actually, wala pa naman full reclaim. But, I believe it will reclaim. So, meron tayo niyan, SE. Next is HIMS. It's an oversold bounce setup. So, for many weeks, for many months, you have a strong decline in HIMS. So, ngayon, since we're at the $30 level, so semi-round number area yan, may makikita tayong RSI Boldiv, which is a sign of strength. So, man kang lower low in price, man kang higher low in RSI. So, that's a good sign for HIMS. Para sa akin, maybe by the break of $30, I think that's a viable buy level for HIMS. Next is ASTS. So, same story with NN. Same setup with NN. Bigger picture, it's an IPO stock na it's just retesting or resetting. Maybe nag-reset lang yung buyers nila. So, ngayon, we need to have a full reclaim of $25 before we totally commit with ASTS. So, basically, para siyang wedge breakout, channel breakout na nag-create ng box. Although ito, nangyari with the box, a pattern, nagkaroon ka ng breakdown and a significant bounce of this resistance trend line. So, lower time frame chart of ASTS, meron kang magandang, para sa akin meron kang RSI Boldiv dito, I think. If we're gonna look at the 30-minute chart, meron kang RSI Boldiv. So, meron kang lower low in price, meron kang higher low in RSI, meron kang parang inside bar dito or basically a square root pattern. So, that's a tradable reversal pattern. So, a rebreak above 24, 25, I think pwede itong ASTS. So, next is UAMY. Ito, gumagalaw na to eh. Pero, if magpakita ng retest, then why not? Ito, TDUP, gumagalaw na rin. So, medyo, na muna tayo. Lie low lang muna tayo. Lore, an airline, an aerospace and defense name. So, almost 3 days up na din. ALHC, it's a healthcare name. It created this inside bar pattern. But ngayon, since, ayun nga, we're in a really uncertain environment. Mahirap din i-trade yung mga ganito. Meron kang bearish candle at $20, which is around number area. Hindi ka para mag-participate with this. Ito, maganda to, MAS. So, MAS is reclaiming the 20-day moving average. A full candle close above the 20-day moving average, itong green line. So ngayon, ang kailangan natin makita with MAS, another healthcare name, is a break above 480. Or pwede rin a break above 430. I think okay na yun. But for MAS, ang pinaka-target natin dyan is at 650. So meron kang maybe around 3 to 1, 4 to 1 reward risk for MAS. Ito, BJ Holdings. So para siya nag-perform ng flag pattern or pang cup and handle, whatever you want to call it. But basically, it's a sign na BJ Holdings is showing strength. So maybe a break above 118, 118.80. That's a viable entry for BJ. Ito, Monster. Nagkaroon ka na retest from this structure high or structure resistance. Nag-bounce naman siya, reclaims the 10 and 20 day. But meron kang another inside bar. I think this is a tradable inside bar. A break above 58.60. I think this is an okay stop, Monster. AEVA. Ito, may i-recommend to eh. But it's a technical setup. It's a semicon name. Tapos bigger picture, you're under IPO due diligence phase. Basically, meron kang big neglect, multi-year neglect since 2021. Gap down, created an accumulation pattern, and right now, maybe they will reap the benefits from this stock price or stock movement. So far, meron kang volume clusters at this point, and at the same time, you have increasing earnings. So ngayon, if I'm gonna trade this, maybe wait for a mini box near this resistance level dito sa 730. But for now, medyo no touch to para sa akin. Next is Oli. It's forming a base after an all-time high breakout. Ayan, all-time high breakout. So if it manages to re-break 120, that's all-time high. Itong Oli. Next is DRS, another aerospace and defense name. So it's forming this big channel. Ito ADPT. It's forming another base pattern. So that's also a viable entry or viable setup. Ito grinder IPO play ito. So ang high nitong IPO niya is $75. Ang laki ng upside potential if we're gonna consider the reference price point na $75. But so far, if we're gonna isolate this chart, this trading range, meron kang potential reward risk of 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 lang at most if materialize tong grinder. Ito last, Spray. So Spray is a company with a new technology. So parang alternative siya ng EpiPen. So instead of an EpiPen na quite invasive na meron kang injection, malaking injection, dito with Spray, ang ginagawa niya is a nasal spray na parang EpiPen. Nasal spray EpiPen siya. So lower cost, mas madaling administration, but based on businesses or the business of it, I think hindi siya masyadong malaking business. So that's Spray. Itong Geo, I think okay din tong chart na to. Although it's forming a head and shoulder pattern, but I think this is already invalidated, inverted. Meron ka ng total undercut and reclaim nung March 2025. So other than that, wala na tayo masyadong need to discuss. So for this trading week, watch out for key earnings releases tulad ng Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, United Health, TSM, and US Bancorp and other financial names. So another thing, this week, medyo nagkakaroon ka ng stability in the tariff narrative. Hopefully, wala masyadong news related this tariff announcement or tariff-related stuff. But a quiet movement or at least a muted tariff, if na-mute yung narrative on the tariff, tingin ko magkakaroon ka ng onting increase in risk appetite. So tulad ng nangyari no Friday, Thursday. So we shall see. Tingnan lang natin. So ayun, that ends our weekly briefing video. So if you have any questions, just kindly chat me. Madami naman akong kausap sa inyo dyan. So huwag kayo mahiya. As always, if you have any questions, chat nyo lang ako. So if you have any positions on watch or being managed, chat nyo ako if you have any concerns. More than happy to help with everyone. So, ayan. See you again on the next video. God bless and goodbye for now. Bye-bye.